Welcome guys, welcome back to another girl chat. If you are new here, my name is Chelsea. This channel belongs to my husband and I, but currently I just want to let you guys in on what's been happening with us. He is in school full-time and it's taking up a lot of his time. So we've had a lot of videos that we wanted to do together, but we just can't because he's so busy. So now here I am doing a girls chat. You guys have asked so many questions, especially about sex. And so if you are under the age of 18, please just keep in mind that if you are not, I'm going to be talking about mature things that happen to pertain to sex and relationships and marriage and all of that, because that's a part of my life and you guys asked about it. So I'm going to let you in. Also, please know if you're not a Christian here, you are welcome. You're totally welcome to watch this video, but a lot of what I believe and a lot of what I talk about is influenced by my faith, because it's the foundation of everything that I do and believe and talk about. I'm overjoyed to talk about these things with you. Don't want to hold back, so let's do it. I'm gonna try my best to keep you guys completely anonymous. I'm gonna blur out all your names or like cut them out because a lot of you guys asked that I don't disclose your name. So the first question is, did the first time hurt? When did it start feeling better? Okay, so if you haven't seen all of my other videos kind of talking about relationships, first time, expectations, reality, I've talked about this a lot, but I haven't necessarily answered this specific question. So in short, the first time that my husband and I were intimate, that we had sex, was on our wedding night. And I know that there are some people who choose to wait, some people who do not, but I'm a firm believer that it is like so special to be able to like have that with your husband. And it was very emotional. I cried, like not out of like pain or anything like that, but just because I was so overwhelmed with just happiness and joy. It sounds really crazy, like, because I'm just thinking about what you guys may be thinking right now, but it's because we were so intentional throughout our relationship of just trying to protect that, and it was really hard. And then to just finally be there and like that happened, you just feel so happy and overjoyed. So it was really special, and I can't say that it was painful. It really wasn't. If you were to envision something that you know that's supposed to go together, but it hasn't quite fit together, like say you're putting together furniture and it just doesn't fit, or something is like not latching on correctly, it's just because your body isn't used to something like that happening. Like for me, being a virgin, like I had never experienced anything like that before. So after, the second part of your question is like, how long did it take to feel like normal or comfortable? I would say after about a week, it felt pretty like comfortable, like bearable, where I didn't feel like off. And then about a month in is where I was like, whoa, this is very enjoyable. So, and a lot of things I didn't really know about. I didn't know what questions to ask my friends, what questions to ask like other married couples. By friends, I mean like people who have had experience in this area. You don't want to just go asking random people. There's a lot of complexities to sex, and I'm saying this kind of lower because we have visitors over. There's some things that you just have to talk through the person that you're with. I know that y'all do natural family planning, but how do you do it on your fertile days with contraceptive ? So this is a really great question. If you haven't watched my video on like how I switched to more natural birth control, I did another TMI video where I talk about it, so I'm not going to go into all of that. But on my fertile days, I actually will I have them next to me. We use these. I never thought I'd be holding up a condom in a video, but this is natural lambskin condoms, and they come in handy, especially on the fertile windows. We don't really use them when I'm not fertile. Like whenever I'm tracking my period, I use an app called Premom, and they feel like nothing, really. Like, I'll be honest, that is one thing that I struggled with when we first originally were trying like other condoms. They just felt like balloons, like rubber, like not really meant to be there or fit or anything. But that feels supernatural. And yeah, I just know if I were experiencing something new or looking for tips, like about to walk into marriage, or maybe like I'm new into marriage, I would want somebody who I can relate to that would tell me this stuff. So hopefully you don't feel like I'm disclosing too much information, but honestly, I feel comfortable talking about this, and that is one of the helpful things that I've found on my fertile window. Okay, I got this question and I think it's super relevant and something I think about a lot, and something that my husband struggles with or thinks about a lot. And it says, I've been married for a month and a half. How do you deal with being scared of getting pregnant? That's very valid, especially if you don't want the blessing of a child right now. I think that one thing that really freaks Nick out is if I'm one day late on my period, or I haven't been tracking my period like I should, he freaks out and thinks I'm automatically late and that I'm pregnant. And it's kind of funny because we get in a mode of just being like, well, if we are, it's okay, and we'll find, you know, ways to work this into our life. But it's just really interesting because I see a totally different side of him of just being like chill with it, and then also not, like, you know, you go from the highs and lows of like, it's okay if it does happen, but this would just not be ideal right now. I have just learned to, after each time this happens, like where I have like a little freak out scare, I have to observe my body. Like, have I been under immense stress lately? What is contributing to my cycle being off? And that makes me feel better, because then I feel like I'm getting to know my body even more. And I think that Nick understands that and respects it, and he's not as worried anymore after this has happened a few times. So we have like literally pregnancy tests like in our drawer, so that if this ever happens, I can take one and he'll calm his mind, because sometimes he just wants that ease of mind. So if your husband's like that, then maybe that's a good idea to just have some like on hand. But yeah, just really try not to freak out, because oftentimes it's due to just my body fluctuating. But if you've also done what you can on even on natural family planning and natural natural ways to not get pregnant, then you can have confidence that you are most likely not pregnant. Now, of course, there's that possibility, but I just think I'm in the headspace of, if it does happen, that's okay. Like, we will handle it and we will love that child so much. And so this is a great question. It's not about sex. That's new. What do you do to stay calm during an argument with your husband? Tips. So whenever I'm trying to stay calm, or when we're trying to work something out, it's definitely one of those things where it's hard to separate your emotions from what is actually happening in your mind and in the moment. So I don't know if I have like the specific tips to help you, because we're still working on this, and I feel like we're going to be working on it for a long time. But I think what helps me is Nick's attitude through it. He wants to talk it out pretty quickly, unless like I hurt him. It's weird. It's like, if I hurt him, sometimes he needs some space, but if he hurts me, I need a lot of space. So we've had to like learn to, even when we're frustrated, just continue to talk, but also like learning to not let emotions like heighten the reality of the situation, because oftentimes our emotions get into play with everything, and it is just heightened more than the actuality of what's happening. So I think whenever you try your hardest to remove the emotions from the situation or how you feel about it, you have to express that, if it makes any sense. What? Knowing that the person that you're with is not your enemy or out to get you, because sometimes we frame that in our mind while we're arguing of, this person had these intentions, and then it goes down this like trail of thoughts of, they thought this, they did this, their response was this, and it's like this built up scenario in our mind, when in reality, as a woman, I know that men are not as complex in their thinking of just how things work out like I am. because I've just seen how Nick processes things, and I can say that confidently. I won't say that every guy or girl are the same, because I can't really generalize a whole population of people. That's silly. But from what I've observed, at least in my like relationship, I know that Nick is like very, you know, structured and thinks very logically, like from one step to another, and I am very like, oh my gosh, like sporadic, like going off in different directions. And so I have to almost train myself to think the best of him, because I know that he is looking out for the best in me, even though sometimes I think that it's not always communicated the way that I think would be healthy, if that makes sense. So we're both working on those things, and so we have to have grace for each other. And you know, in scripture where it says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, I think that's across the board in our relationships, and also in dating, friendships, family, all of that, and in just the way that we think. And I think the transforming of our mind changes the way we think, and what we think usually is what we speak, and what we speak is what affects the people around us and affects ourselves. So I think that that's really powerful too. It's just seeing that person as they have my best interest, I have their best interest, and that really relieves a lot because if you're confident that you're with the right person and you have a healthy relationship, or you're working towards that, then you can think those things of each other and grow in that area. Last question. Somehow most of these are about sex, and I hope that's okay. But it's the questions you guys asked. So this girl asked, how do you tell a guy that you're not ready to do anything intimate yet? First of all, I feel for you in the pressure that you feel, because truly it seems like you're in the wrong relationship. And I'm just gonna tell you that flat out, because the way that you phrase this question makes it seem like this guy may be pressuring you to do things that you for sure don't feel comfortable doing, because that's the tone that you have in this text. But also biblically, and just for your safety and security in a relationship, since you are most likely marriage focused and you're most likely like long-term focused, the person that you're with should not only respect what you choose to do, but should land on that same playing field and view as you with the area of what you would like to do and intimacy and all of that. And the way to know that is to have that conversation pretty early on in dating. It'll weed out the people really fast, because that's really important, to have somebody who, you know, is on the same level as you and what you believe. It's called being equally yoked in that area. And not only that, there's a lot of people who will talk about, can I date an unbeliever? And as a Christian, this is just applying to Christians, that person is going to morph the way that you think about everything. And if you want a leader in your home of all the truths that you believe and that you put your hope in, then you want somebody who, you know, affirms what you believe because they have had that individually with Christ first. So that's another subject. I can talk about that in another video too. I know you guys have asked that question before, but I felt very challenged lately to talk about things that aren't necessarily popular to talk about, that a lot of people would unsubscribe to me for, because of the way that I believe in the Bible. It's crazy. If you just truly believe what is said in the Bible and you speak it, a lot of people, that's not popular. So I just have had to accept that over the years. And remember when I was outspoken about my faith the first time, I lost thousands and thousands of followers, and still today lose a lot. But there are those who stick around, and those who want the encouragement, and those who believe, and I just want to see more people come to faith, like over the span of my life, and I know Nick does too. So I have a lot of more questions, so I definitely will continue this series. This is like something I love talking about, and I know you guys feel free to ask any question. So I did receive your guys' Q&A responses like where Nick and I will sit down and chat. He's just had like no time lately to sit down and talk about these things. You guys have some serious questions you were asking, and we're excited to get into them. Also a little nervous because there are some things we've never like shared publicly on our YouTube channel, just because we haven't necessarily wanted to come across the wrong way, because communication is huge, and communicating what you believe, why you believe it, and the foundation of what you believe. And sometimes I feel like I can't really express that correctly through a video, and I wish I could have like relationships with people before I were to enter a conversation about something that's so, you know, life-changing and shifting. So just know that we're thinking about that, and we hope that you value these videos and that you enjoy them. So I'm gonna leave y'all. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.